Magic 87.6. Hi, Andrew, on the radio. Matthew Dickerson talking tech. Morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Great to be chatting tech again.
Now, Matt, I played with people who like to smash the buttons on your gaming console, and generally you go, don't do that because you're going to break my stuff. But apparently they found out you could be doing good to the gaming console now.
Well, the new gaming console, or at least this one in particular, is designed to be powered by the way you smash the buttons. And I agree with you. I used to see people smash buttons on gaming consoles and go, just lay off a little bit. You're not going to go better in the game by smashing it that hard. But some of the new consoles, they've got one now that's a little Game Boy lookalike, and it's got some solar panels on there. But if you can remember back at school, those kids that had those fancy calculators with solar panels, you had to have it in just the right amount of light and facing the right way, and you maybe got enough power, and that was about it. So there's not quite enough power to run the whole gaming console from the solar panels, but the actual action on the buttons has got a little electromagnet inside it that will generate electricity as well. So the combination of the solar panels and the buttons, that you pressing the buttons up and down, is actually all you need to run the console. There's no batteries included with it. You can't run it off batteries. You've got to run it off the solar panels and you smashing the buttons. So those friends that you remember that used to smash the buttons, find one of them now because they'll be fantastic at playing a game like this. They'll never run out of power.
Is there a hidden feature when you throw it up against the wall because you can't get past level 3?
Well, there's a feature that can use shaking it, and it can use some other motions. I don't know about the bouncing it off the wall feature to generate some extra power there, but certainly shaking it. So if you're getting a bit frustrated, you want to shake the damn thing, then that will actually generate some more power in a future version, not in the current version.
You know it's a good game when you just sit here and just keep shaking and going, I just want to get past this thing.
That's right. And now that might be a necessary part of it to get past certain levels. You might need to shake it to have some extra power to get past those levels. Who knows?
Yeah. And if you chuck in the verbal sound effects, that's where you get the extra player.
That's right.
That's exactly right. Now, Matt, I don't know about you, but I went to go and check my ever-expanding shares portfolio on Monday. You probably did the same thing, didn't you?
It's an hourly process for me. Every hour, just check on the hour just to see where your share portfolio is up to. The problem yesterday was I heard some stories that the share market had crashed. And I've gone, oh no, the ASX has crashed. What's my share portfolio down to now? Is it dropped below 50 million? I just want to go and check on it. And of course, it wasn't the share market pricing that had crashed. It was the process to actually buy and sell shares. The ASX actually had a crash on Monday. So they'd done an upgrade over the weekend, and 20 minutes into trade on Monday, that's it. All bets are off. You can no longer buy or sell shares. And it lasted the entire day. So you don't feel so bad. Then anyone that's done a computer upgrade or transferred data from one phone to another and they've had a bit of a problem with it, those people don't feel so bad now, given the fact that there's been a year's worth of planning going into this upgrade of the ASX. They had 4 dress rehearsals to get it right, and still, despite all that planning, the contractors that came in and did the upgrade spent all weekend doing it, and first thing Monday morning, it all falls over. So I can't imagine there'd be some pleasant conversations happening right now as we speak between the contractors and the people who run the ASX.
Yeah, you just got to hear the discussions at the help desk now, didn't you? Aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, you know, did you turn it off before you ran the install and then did a fresh boot, or did you just copy over the top of it?
Well, social media had a bit of fun with it because there were a number of comments on social media saying, have you turned it off and turned it back on again?
Yeah.
The classic line from any IT technician. And a few people were relabeling Australian Stock Exchange to Australian Stop Exchange. So very clever.
Yeah. I wonder if they connected that box that contains the internet to it.
That's right. What's this lead left over here? It's got to plug in somewhere.
Oh, don't worry about that one. That's just a redundant cable. It's fine. Now, shopping trolleys, we all go there and you all reach for the wipes when you get to the shopping trolleys. Do you do that, Matt? Do you wipe over your shopping trolley?
Oh, look, I'm hoping that the supermarkets that I shop at are doing that for me. So I'm putting my complete faith and trust in them. But there's a new device that's been designed overseas. It's being trialled in Adelaide as we speak. Obviously, a good place to trial it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Where the shopping trolleys are brought up from the car park as per normal, and instead of being sat outside the actual supermarket and then wiped over with various wipes, they just run it through this little sanitizer. And that sprays a water-based spray that basically kills germs on the shopping trolley. So when they come out the other side, they can be sat ready to be picked up by a shopper, and away they go with confidence that it's germ-free. The shopping baskets that you carry around, the same thing, they can be put in the trolleys and they can run through, so the shopping baskets, the trolleys are all sanitised. And this trial is being done, as I said, in Adelaide at the moment. If it's successful, then they hope to roll this out across chains of supermarkets across the entire nation. The good part about it is that although it's been designed overseas, the actual manufacturing, if it does go ahead, will be done in South Australia. So it's good to see any manufacturing here in this nation.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, after what's happened in South Australia, anything that's trialled in South Australia now, I'm sorry.
It's a good place to trial it. What a great place to test it out. Let's use them as a testing bed for everything we want to try out.
Yeah, I know, right? But anything corona related, you're testing it in South Australia, you just turn around and go, yeah, no, that's not happening. I'm sorry. I don't care how good your product is, you test it in South Australia. Yes. If there's a place where there's going to be the next outbreak, South Australia.
That's right.
There you go.
The new Melbourne.
The new Melbourne. That's exactly right. Now, this is interesting, Matt. There's a smartwatch now that is helping to keep domestic violence victims safe. This is cool.
Yeah, and it is sad that we actually need something like this, but the research has shown that if you can get some friends or neighbours to intervene at the first signs of some escalation, then it's much less likely to escalate out of control. And so the smartwatch is using some of the features that are already there. For example, my smartwatch, if I fall over, if I'm out riding my mountain bike and I fall over and I don't move for a minute, it automatically calls the police. They don't want that to happen with a potential DV situation because police can sometimes scare the perpetrator into doing more things. But what they've set it up to do is that a potential victim can hold down a button on a smartwatch, and that will then basically connect to a number of predefined numbers of friends or neighbours that you might have that might know you might be in potential danger. And they can actually have a conference call. So you hold the button down, it rings a few people, those people can hear what's happening, and someone can say, this sounds like it could be solved pretty easily. Hey, Billy Blogg's neighbour, can you just duck in and visit your neighbour and just see if they're okay? And they might just duck in on the premise that they're going to borrow some sugar. Just, hi, how you going? And that might be enough just to calm the situation down. It might sound a bit more serious because people can hear what's happening at the other end, and so they might send a family member in or someone that's close to the potential perpetrator. And if it does look like it's actually getting a bit more serious, then of course they can call the police and get them to come in and help out in that more drastic situation. So it's a very soft way of doing it. The organisation that's been designing it's called Stand By You Foundation. That's Stand By with the letter U rather than the word U. Stand By You Foundation, and you can contact them for more details on them. But I think it sounds like a very good way to use technology to solve something that's a very real world problem, something that's happening every day, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. It's a good thing. All right, BMW, they've got a new range of EVs. They're moving ahead, aren't they?
Yeah, they are moving ahead. They did actually come out back in about 2011 with some of the i-vehicles, the i3, the i8. I remember about a year or two after that, I drove the i3. I thought it was a good little start into the EV market. It only had a very small range, but they've developed the i3 a lot further. But the market research in Australia, around the world, everywhere is saying that people want to drive SUVs. So BMW have now come out with their iX, be available to purchase next year, about the size between an X3 and an X5. So kind of that smaller size of the SUV market, which is appropriate because most people use SUVs to run around their city and pick up kids from school, and they don't dare go on any dirt because it'll make their beautiful new SUV look too dirty. So they're really used to run around and do the shopping and the school drop-offs. But this SUV isn't too bad in terms of the electric environment as such. They've got dual motors on it. They produce about 370 kilowatts of power. It'll do 0 to 100 in less than 5 seconds, which is very important when you're going to pick up the shopping. You can do it very quickly. And so in general, I think it's not a bad entry into the market for them. They've really worked on the efficiency as well. They're trying to get around about 21 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. They're going to have larger than 100 kilowatt hour batteries. So they're claiming that you might be able to get as much as 600 kilometres range out of this. So again, good to see some of the major manufacturers coming out with their electric vehicle options. There's companies like Tesla, like Rivian that are new to the market and are only building EVs. But some of those more traditional cars, that's where I think we'll really see the growth in the electric vehicle area or the electric vehicle market when you see names and brand names that people have known and trusted, like BMW, like Ford, like General Motors. When those ones start coming out with their mainstream products, I think that's when people will really start to adopt EVs.